You'll get your desire the moment you see that you aren't separate from it. Hi, I'm Beyond Taylor, and I am here to help you go beyond your self-imposed limitations. Now, I know you've heard this said in many ways. To think from the end, to live as if you are a vibrational match for your reality. So whatever you see is just a reflection of yourself. So if you think you don't have it, then that's going to be reflected back to you. And I'm here to go a little deeper into what that actually means, about there not being any separation between you and what you actually want. Now, for some of you, you may think, well, that sounds good in theory, but I can't actually see the car. I can't actually see the person that I want to be with, right? I don't have the money in my bank account. I don't have the career that I desire. So that sounds good that I'm not separate from it, but I still feel this lack, right? I still am thinking that I don't have it. So how can I have it when I need the physical representation in order for me to feel secure in the fact that I have it now? And that's what this video is going to help you to do, is to open your eyes and to find security in the void, because you are indeed the void. So when you can put your identity in what you actually are, you'll see very clearly that there really is no separation between you and what you want. And when you rest in that state, in that vibration, in that frequency, then you'll become in alignment for that particular reality. So I've said this many times, but this time I want to go a bit deeper. I am here to dismantle your identity, because it is only in the dismantling, it is only in the breaking apart everything you thought about yourself that you can rebuild yourself into who you desire to be. So today we're going to be talking about the I. We're going to be talking about how imagination creates reality. And then we're going to talk about how to express your desires, so rather than need them. And we have Samaya in the background if you hear some babies. So let's get right into the video. When I say that you are not separate from your desires, I am not speaking philosophically. I am speaking experimentally. The only reason why you think you're separate from your desires is because there's a thought that comes up that says, I am over here and the rest of the world is over there. But I want you to start to look into the nature of the I thought, because the I thought is arising in what you actually are. And I don't mean you, who you think yourself to be, because when I say these in all my videos, I say you are consciousness, you are awareness, right? You are God, you are the energy. But then that would mean that you are not something else. And I always say you are everything. So when I'm saying you are consciousness, I just mean that consciousness is the nature of reality. And that is everyone's nature. But then we have this thought that comes up that says, I am. So then that creates a slit in the infinite time space. It creates this localized point of being, that I am here. But I want you guys to see that that is only a thought. The thought that I am here is just a sensation, the same way you're hearing my voice. It is a sensation that comes and goes. However, because of society and the conditions that we've received, we've really been beat into submission that this I thought is ours to claim. But I'm asking you to let go of the ownership of the I am thought, just to witness it. Simply, and I'm not telling you to witness it. Witnessing is already happening. Witnessing is happening now. So witnessing happens with all thoughts and sensations. But for some reason, there's this belief, because we think that I am here, that when you hear my voice, you think that this isn't you. But that's only a thought. You are literally hearing yourself. Consciousness is hearing itself. Consciousness is experiencing itself at all times. So drop ownership. just for a second, just for the rest of today, I want you guys to try this out as a practice. I want you to drop ownership of the fact that everything that comes up is your thoughts. All the sensations that come up are your feelings. Just see that they are simply arising and disappearing in consciousness. And this isn't your consciousness or my consciousness. It is just the consciousness that all objects are being permeated with. Just see that. This is not my voice. When I drop the notion of ownership, it's just a voice that's appearing in consciousness. It doesn't belong to me. But we can only see this from the framework of being no thing. And I'm not saying being nothing, like I know I said to go into the void, but I mean no thing, which means you're not one thing, you're everything. So just drop the notion of ownership. This is my anxiety. These are my thoughts. This is my pain. Just notice it as sensations that are coming and going in the field of spacious awareness. And I know that some of you may have this argument, or you have a bit of, I don't want to say denial, but it makes you question the validity of what I'm saying, because let's say if somebody, if I got bit by a bug the other day, and you will say, well, I know that we're actually separate, and I'm not you, or I'm not everything, because I don't feel the sensations of that bug bite from you. But that's because you're starting from the framework of being a self. That's not me. That's a belief. That's literally just another thought. The idea that you can't feel my bug bite because you're not me is just another thought. Everything is just coming and going in consciousness. A bug bite happened. Sensations come. Itching comes. Scratching occurs. It doesn't occur for anyone. It's just what's appearing in consciousness. So from that framework, I would never think that, you got hit in the stomach and I don't feel that pain, so that must mean I'm not you. Because that means I'm already coming from the belief that you, which means not me. I'm creating that separation. Whereas when I just go consciousness, a sensation appeared in consciousness. And because I claim no experiences or no sensations as me, then but the thought of, but that sensation didn't occur over here doesn't even take place. Because as soon as I say that sensation didn't occur here, dualism. But that's the state of the world. We all experience this form of a localized self. Not just with thoughts, but also with emotions. And the emotions are the most challenging. We have the most investment in them when talking about separation or talking about me and you, because the emotions take so much of our attention, so much of our energy and awareness. And then the I thought comes up to say, I am feeling this way. I am doing this. This is happening in me. It's just another belief. See clearly that the fact that I am feeling pain is just another thought. Pain is just in awareness. It is not mine. It is not yours. It is no one's. It is just what's happening. So this is the starting framework of knowing yourself as everything. Because if you're not just localized to a center in reality, a particular place in reality, then where do you find yourself? Without thoughts, how do you know where you begin and end? When you look into your experience, there's labeling that's going on that's putting reality into components. But that's just the mind labeling it. Without that, there's just seeing, there's just witnessing. So there's no way to know where you begin and end. Because even to say, well, I know I'm here because I feel like I'm here, that's just another thought. You're just experiencing sensations. And you don't know if that sensation is actually happening here or not. And the illusion is very strong because of the neural pathways, and like the I thought is the greatest illusion of them all. And I'm not saying you're going to break free from it. I'm just saying to see into that that's what's going on here. And from there, you see that imagination is literally creating your experience. It's literally just the labeling that's creating. But without the labeling, there's just witnessing, there's just seeing, and it's just consciousness seeing itself. So this is why, and I wrote this down, I said imagination is the exploration of possibilities. Because in this space where there's no ownership, there's no labels, there's no boundaries, there's no boxes, there's just fluid, free energy. And it may feel like you have nowhere to stand, but that's the greatest point to be at, because with nowhere to stand, now you can create your own boundaries. You can create your own limits. You can create everything because you're in infinite possibility. And then when you come down and start to interact with the I am thought again, you are infusing it with ideas that are in alignment with what you desire. So next we're going to talk about imagination creates reality, right? All is mind, the first law in the Hermetic principles, right? All is mind. So even though there's an understanding that there's no separate individuals, because the thought is what's coming up to claim that separate experience, and the thought is just coming and going in the consciousness that everyone shares, that's not your experience, and that's not my experience. I experience myself as an individual, even though I see, or like who sees, right? Because if I say I see, then I'm already creating that distinction. But there's seeing happening that is witnessing all experiences come and go, all sensations come and go, all thoughts come and go. So what, and even in that, it's clearly seen that there's a limit that's being placed by the thoughts. So in order to live the way that I would like, or in order for you to live the way that you want, is to create your own limits by imagination, by exploring the infinite potentiality of consciousness. So when you see very clearly that there's no separation and that you are no thing because you are everything, then what could you ever lack? It's the I thought that comes up that says I don't have. So then it creates this veil from the fact that why would you need anything when you are like there's only consciousness. So anything that you see is already one with you. But then the I thought comes up and says, but it's not in my experience and I can't touch it and I can't physically, like, cool, that sounds cool. It's just the thought. So now we have to work with the thoughts to get them to align with this truth. And really it happens by grace. The more that you stop claiming ownership over experiences and stop putting ownership onto others, this thinking is going to align, your thinking is going to align with this truth. So the idea of lack and not having and you need in order to be happy, that all is seen in what you are. And what you are, you're already happy, you're already fulfilled, you already are loved. Because when you go to that space of no thoughts, that's peace. Because there's no thought to come up to say I'm not at peace. There's no thought to come up to say I'm not happy. And even when that thought comes up, it's just seen as a sensation in consciousness. So your borderline, your true nature is everything that you desire. You're just waiting for the material form of it to come into existence so you can like touch it with your sensations. And that's cool, right? That's why I believe consciousness separated itself, is so that it can experience all aspects of itself. Because if consciousness didn't separate itself, then it knows everything. It like time and beginning and end and front and back, all of that is like known. Our minds can't understand it because we think in a linear time because of how our brain works, which is why it's hard for us to think that something was not born or never dies, because we always think that something has to have a beginning and an end just based on our linear frame of thinking, our three-dimensional thinking. But to consciousness, everything is. everything, everywhere, all at once. So consciousness broke itself into pieces to forget, so it could remember. It's a game. Don't take this so serious. It's a game, and that's the way that I like to think about it. A game of hide and seek. And people might say, why would consciousness want to play this game? Because it's fun. When you know everything, what's the point of anything? I mean, but this is just from my linear thinking, because I tend to think of points, right? What's the point? Like, these are not even the right questions, but this is a question. These are questions that a 3-dimensional limited being would have. Why is this here? What's the point? What's the purpose? How did it start? When did it end? All these questions come out of time, but without time, there's just what is. So I believe that consciousness wanted to forget that it knew everything, to just play a game. That's just my theory. It's a game of play. So and this is the way I like to think about it. Have you ever played a game with someone and you guys were at different skill levels? So one was like way more skilled than the other person. You knew who was going to win. You didn't want to play. You only want to play games with somebody that's at your skill level, because it makes it interesting, because you don't know what's going to happen. And that's what this is about. It's this not knowing. It's this curiosity. It's the unknown that consciousness became limited to understand, or to try to grasp through the limited functions of every dimension that it exists in, which is why we're always going towards this truth of wholeness and union through like objects, circumstances, or people. We think these circumstances are going to make us feel whole, because as soon as the I thought comes up, it creates this veil of being incomplete. Because it's like, I am here and I'm not, even though we, like, deep down, we know the truth that we are one, we constantly search for this feeling of oneness in our experiences. Like, you don't actually care about the money. You don't actually care about the partner. You don't actually care about the house or the car or the career. You care about feeling whole. And you think that these are the things that's going to bring it to you, because throughout your life, you've had experiences where you were feeling, because of a thought, oh, I feel sad because I don't have this, or I'm not feeling good. And it's the ownership of I don't feel, and not just seeing it as sensations and awareness. So then you get something, let's say an object or a person or circumstances change. And what happens is that your mind gets quiet. So you think that it's the object, but really it's just the fact that you're no longer thinking that you don't have it anymore. And that's why you feel that feeling of bliss, peace, and happiness. But it didn't come from the object. It just came from desiring ceasing for a bit. But what do you know? It starts back up again, as it always does. So to just see that you are the consciousness in which everything comes and goes, you are already the fulfillment, the happiness, the love, and everything that you seek now. Everything can simply become an expression of that. And that's when imagination comes into place. And this is why we want to imagine from the end. We want to imagine as if, because we are that now. And then we're not using our desires as a means to an end. The desires simply become the expression at play. The expression of love, the expression of happiness, the expression of peace, the expression of abundance. That's what desires become. So that's why it's important to utilize your imagination, but do it from the standpoint of being no thing, of being everything. Because now you're not doing it from a place of, I need this in order to feel, but I feel, so this is. I feel, so this becomes. You see the difference? I need this love so I can feel complete. I am complete. The love is the expression of that. It's just this expansion. I mean, it's just this restriction and expansion. Restriction and expansion. So I want you to come from it from the expanded point of view of consciousness, not of the self, of the I am, of the ownership of this small experience, but of the freeness and the witnessing all that is, because that is what's going on. And again, we can't escape this feeling of being I or I am. We can only see it. And by seeing it, we loosen our grip to being so identified with I am only this. And then we're so much more free to imagine without limits or limitations, without this past. Oh, I can only imagine this much because of all these conditions that I have. When all conditions and beliefs are seen to just be sensations, like we hear a car passing by or we smell it, like all sensations are coming and going. How close is my voice to your thoughts? What's the distance? I'm not saying the volume, but what's the distance between my voice and your thoughts? So how can you say that your thoughts are yours? No ownership. It's just sensations appearing in consciousness. So from there, we explore the imagination and things manifest so much quicker because we're not coming from a place of I need because I'm separate from, but I am. So let there be light. You know, in the beginning, God said, let there be light, let there be this. He didn't say, I need these things in order to feel okay. Who do you think you are? Let there be, let there be, let there be, because you are no thing. So everything is just expressions of this one intimate truth. Okay, and then last but not least, I mean, I guess I did kind of talk about that. So maybe I'm not going to make this like a 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 type of video. And this isn't super long. But I really just wanted to give you a bit of nuance when it comes to like thinking from the end or living as if or thinking as if or everything is done now. This is what it means because everything is being born and dying every moment. And that's the mind that says moment. But in the infinite realm of now, without any thoughts coming on to claim the experience, there's just this intimacy with the sensations that are apparent. And you know what happens when this happens? And I also want to say this. Hold on. When this happens, your experience becomes, I also want to say this. When this happens, your experience becomes so vivid because you're not spending so much energy in your mind or you're not spending so much energy feeling. You take that energy as just the witness or you just take back that energy. Reality takes on a different tone. Colors get vivid, sounds get more vivid, sensations become more, like everything just turns up a notch. And it's like you're entering a different dimension because you're not using so much energy in your mental space and in the emotions or in the holding up this bondage or holding up this identity of being a self. Once that energy starts to dissipate, you have the energy to just really be with the moment. And the moment takes on this aliveness. If you ever done psychedelics, just imagine you really start to see the vibrations in objects. And this is sober. You really start to see the movement, the waves in objects because you're not taken up, all your energy isn't being used to maintain this identity of being a self and holding on to all these beliefs and ideas that you have about reality. Your energy is now free to relax and to like get intimate with what is. So reality really does take on this aliveness that is unlike anything that you can even think about right now from the limited perspective. Just stop taking ownership. Just do it for a day. These are not my thoughts. These are not my, just watch all the thoughts come and go. The sensations come and go and treat them as if you're listening to another person or you're listening to a sound on the street, or just treat all sensations the same as they don't belong to anyone. They're just appearing and disappearing in awareness and consciousness. And reality will just woo you and surprise you, and it gets really mystical and magical and weird and quirky because what our thinking does is organize realities, and we really start to recognize patterns. Once this is allowed to, like, all our energy isn't in so much thinking or feeling, reality gets kind of chaotic, but it's a beautiful chaos. It's a beautiful dance. And that becomes the thrill. And from this, you're in fulfillment, you're in curiosity, you're in wonder, you're in play, and everything is allowed to bloom. Everything is allowed to blossom. You will really start to have this enlightenment, this experience of feeling like you're on drugs without being on drugs, because that's how intense the experience becomes. But it's not so intense that you can't handle it. It's just the intensity of love and oneness and union is amazing. But that's all I got because Samaya's crying. But I love you guys. Make sure you sign up because group membership is coming soon, guys. Make sure you sign up for the waitlist down below if you're interested in this. If you're a creator and you want to make money from your art, from your creation, and you want to just allow this truth to permeate every ounce of your experience, that membership is going to be for you. You want to be around like-minded individuals that share your ideals, that you'll be able to bounce things off. It's going to be like a mastermind, a very low costing mastermind. Is going to be $47 a month, and I would love to see you guys there. So sign up for the waitlist so you can be the first to know. That's all I got. Love you guys. Bye.